Joining us now on the right to it, I guess, line, the Rams play-by-play voice, also does some work for the Pac-12 Network. He joins us now with Rocket Minuch with Jimmy B. JB Long. How we doing, JB? What's going on, man? How are you today?
You guys, hope you're having a good day. Here you're on assignment.
So Minuch goes on your show, and then all of a sudden I get some dirt? Well, what's this all about? On assignment? I'm not on assignment.
Well,
Never on a
last
Thursday.
time JB was on, you were on assignment.
Where was I? Where did I go? What
There's
trip
no
did
telling,
I go?
Brooke. You're on a trip reporting from somewhere.
World Series? What was it?
It was about, 3 weeks ago, JB?
I am going on assignment this weekend to your neck of the woods. I will be at the game on Sunday and taking some sponsors for a trip, and I'm looking forward to that. Never been to SoFi. I got one of those cabanas on the field. Have you been in one of those, JB?
Only when I'm not supposed to be, and there's no game going on. So I trust that you'll have a lot more fun than I did.
I'll be looking up to you over there. I'll have one for you then, JB, all right? So, hey, the Matthew Stafford concussion protocol, when did that all come down? And why didn't it come down maybe sooner?
No, that's a good question. We were not aware of it when we flew home from Tampa on Sunday night. Was not aware of it on Monday when Sean McVay had first his press conference, and then we did the Coach McVay show together. This sounds like more of a symptom identification on Tuesday, perhaps, in his conversation, routine checkups with the medical staff in preparation for a new week. So his status for the game up in the air, and we probably won't have any further clarification until as late as tomorrow when Sean McVay has his final press conference and that last injury report comes out.
So Wolford and a young man, Bryce Perkins, a young man I've worked with forever, are they getting a lot of the reps yesterday, today, and Friday until he passes his baseline test? Is that what's pretty much going to happen here, JB?
Sounds like, and you guys have seen Wolford in years prior. He steps into that final game, was it 2020, I believe it was, kind of a must-win for the Cardinals and the Rams, and got them where they were trying to go in relief of Jared Goff, and then started subsequently the wildcard playoff game in Seattle as well. It's been a minute for him, and his summer wasn't great, but I will say Wolford did get a lot of work with the ones in training camp because the Rams were monitoring and managing Matthew Stafford's elbow. So we'll see if that serves him well if he does get pressed into duty. And quite frankly, he, and to an even greater extent, Perkins, have a mobility advantage on Stafford, and given the state of the Rams' offensive line this year, that may not be the worst thing, although we know Arizona is not necessarily the defensive front to exploit that as much as, for instance, a Tampa Bay or a San Francisco have recently.
All right, then that's my follow-up question. Here we have two teams that look extremely similar coming up on Sunday, JB. Porous offensive lines, quarterbacks that we are unsure if they're going to play. Have you dealt with this sort of situation before? Has this happened like in your play-by-play experiences where both teams just pretty much mirror each other, and also how important this game is to whoever wins?
Yes and no and yes. This is uncharted territory. You're right to point that out. But I think last week in Tampa Bay, we said that it was like that Spider-Man meme where everyone's kind of standing in the circle and pointing at each other like you are me and I am you. And this is all too familiar. So, other than it being Kyler Murray or maybe Colt McCoy instead of Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, this is very familiar in that the Buccaneers' backs were against the wall last week. And each week is a must-win in the National Football League, but I think with each passing loss, the use of that term becomes more appropriate, and it certainly applies to the two teams at the bottom of the NFC West.
JB Long, the voice of the Rams, here with Rock Minuch with Jimmy B. What's the word? How healthy are these running backs of yours right now? Because that's where the Cardinals got beat pretty hard last week on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like when you say you have more than one quarter, or you have two quarterbacks or three quarterbacks, you don't have one. Running back by committee has not been productive. The committee's kind of been stuck in committee, so to speak. And I wouldn't necessarily place blame on the running backs, though Cam Akers has been a bit of a lightning rod and was supposed to be the lead back and has not delivered. His performance ranks among the bottom of the league's running backs. I do think there was a sign of life from Darrell Henderson, who had a couple productive runs in Tampa Bay last week and had the longest run of the Rams season. It was 23 yards, and fans of the Cardinals might remember Cooper Kupp scoring in Glendale on that jet sweep. That was 20 yards. Until last Sunday, that was the longest run of the Rams season. So a lot of that has to do with knockoff and removal up front. And there's a very good chance the Rams start their 9th different starting offensive line combination when they face the Cardinals on Sunday.
You know, JB, you look at the stat that was shown after the game last week that you guys have been outscored 71-10 in the fourth quarter. Unable to score, unable to stop the opposing team. I know that Sean McVay said after the game there's going to be some changes made. How many, if any, changes have been made with that defense or on the offensive side?
Well, I'll start on defense. And rookie corner Darion Kendrick was picked on a little bit by Tom Brady last week, especially in that not 2-minute, 1-minute drill that proved to be the game-winning drive. And I think the Rams are healthier than they've been since week 1 in their secondary, so his services may not be as necessary, and the Rams have some other options they might deploy. We'll see if Greg Gaines, defensive tackle and running mate of Aaron Donald, who's been great against the Cardinals, is able to go or not with an elbow. That could be another area where you see a change. Other than that, it's probably too strong to say this Rams defense has been championship-worthy, but I think they've been top-notch. The blame does not rest on their side of the football. Offensively, I'd be stunned if you don't see another change on offensive line, probably at left guard. I think there's a chance you see some shakeup in the backfield, maybe with the return of rookie running back Tyron Williams. And I certainly think they need to explore some more options with their eligibles. They are as limited in terms of their personnel as any team I've ever covered in the sport of football, and it's pain. It's costing them right now. And I think, to circle back to your question about the fourth quarter, I think some of their lackluster performance there might be sheer exhaustion because they just don't go very deep in there, too deep on offense.
More than fair. Jimmy, I'm curious, do you consider this a knockout game? In other words, who loses? Are they toast for the possibility of making a run then in the NFC West with, even though Seattle and San Francisco, what they're doing, do you see the loser is done?
Yeah. If not mathematically, I think for all intents and purposes, yes. I do think this is an elimination game, and I say that for a couple of reasons. One, because as soft as the NFC playoff bubble is, I just think both of these teams and rosters right now have reached a breaking point, and so mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I think it would be tough to come back from. And then on top of that, I think Seattle, with multiple straight double-digit wins, you have to believe in what they're doing. And San Francisco is about to take off. I really think that with Christian McCaffrey in a bye week, they are about to become one of, if not the favorites in a top-heavy NFC.
JB, where's the blame game with the fan base right now? You come off a Super Bowl, everybody's fat and happy, and then this isn't what I think a lot of fans expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reasonable-minded ones say scoreboard, banner, Super Bowl ring, live with whatever comes here. And then the more temperamental ones, the newer ones to the party and to the show probably say, your past is catching up with you with some of the draft capital that you've exchanged and, choosing to cut corners in certain respects, including along the offensive line, and the bill's kind of coming due there. Look, no one likes to lose, and this is supposed to be everyone's escape from the work week and from reality, and right now it's not been very enjoyable for Rams fans. And the record is one thing, guys, but the way they have lost games has been especially frustrating. To see this roster, this team, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, struggle to produce 2 touchdowns for Sunday has just not been fun to watch, and I know they're hoping that changes on Sunday.
JB, I'll pull some lobster, some steak, maybe some Modelo or Stella's, and I'll bring them up to the booth, after the first quarter. All right.
I would prefer that to having to put down my headset and come join you. If this game goes off the rail.
JB, as always, buddy, thanks for the time, man. We always appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. I hope you enjoyed today's office.
Yeah.